Hi, hope you've enjoyed your weekend. Thanks for contributing loads of comments to the tribute to Ron Ranson, who died on Saturday, I think, or Friday. Yes, an artist that made a lot of difference to a lot of people in simple watercolour techniques. They're only difficult if you don't practice them. But however, a piece of Fabriano, £130, as Stephen Cronin says, we use it because it's cheap, but it's good and cheap for wetting wet. I've done a quick sort of a wintry drawing here. I put a house on it just to show Willing and some trees. I'm going to try to do this in a very limited palette of raw sienna, light red, ultramarine and burnt sienna. Okay, so I'll wet the paper, but I'm going to wet down to this line here and around the house. So don't want to, I've gone a bit close there to my house. I don't want to go anywhere near that bit. I want that to not be wetting wet. So I'll just come down here, down there. Okay. Now this isn't an ideal angle. In fact, I might just take it back a bit. It's difficult to film really when it's too acute or too late laying down because of the camera angle. I'm not a professional filmmaker. I've only got what I've got, a tripod from Lidl and a Canon camcorder, which is a lovely camera, but it's limited in that you can't stop and record and continue as a single video. You have to edit it, and it's a bit of a time wasting thing, so I don't bother. I don't stop. Unless I do it in two parts, which is the other way. It takes so long to edit, or the way I know how to do it anyway. Right, so the paper will expand. So let's just warm up the sky, a bit of light red and a bit of sienna. Get a nice, hoping that'll just sort of settle around the trees and not on those slopes. Alright, okay. So we'll put in a bit of nice red and ultramarine. And a bit of nice snowy sort of clouds coming across. That seems to be a bit dry up there. Don't know why. Right, okay. Right, that will do. I don't want to do any more than that. I just want to put in some of these lower slopes. Now let's just get that little bit in there. Right, okay, I'm going to dry that, so take your headphones off. Right, well, not bone dry. You can see how simple I've laid that first wash in. I'm now going to use, I'm going to clean the palette, I'm just going to use red and blue for the trees. This is all with the 2-inch hake. So just clean the palette. So I don't want any yellow ochre. Sorry, raw sienna. So we'll bit of blue, bit of red. The red's very strong. So let's just put these in here. More blue. Right, let's carry on over the top there. Put these ones in. Look, just gently stroking with the edge of the brush. It's fairly dry, and we can elaborate on that as we go. I mainly learnt my trees from Ron and Hilda, not from Ron. I learnt the wet and wet type painting from Ron. I don't copy what he does. I really use the technique and teach the technique because it's so good once you've learnt it. And what you do with it is up to you. But have a go at copying what I do. I'm quite happy for you to do that. Right, now I'm going to put in some wash on the base here. I want to just wash over that now. It's not quite dry, is it? Right, let's. I'll re-wet it, I think. I'll come down. But I'll try and leave a margin where it's wet. I don't want to drag the sky colour into the bit of distance. Right, let's just put a little bit of deeper shadow in there. And we can right, okay. And some blue. This is sort of following the ground shape. I'm giving some sort of detail to the hills, or the hill that this is all on. So I put a bit of sky colour, I think. And into that I can put some darks and lights and stuff. Right now, I'll give that another dry. So mute your sound now. We can imagine that the light is coming this way and it's bringing shadows. If they're coming forward, the better if they're coming down the hill. So we'll have the light source on the right, I think. So we can put in some fairly nifty shadows and bluey reddy. That'll be light on that side, but we can coming up the hill. Okay. Bit more blue in there maybe. Right, let's abandon the hake for a moment and let's do a bit of rigger work. So just a bit of burnt sienna, a bit of ultramarine, just add in some nice stronger trees. We can put some ivy, bit of texture. It's just a number 3 rigger. It's amazing what you can do with it, and one would say it's the symphony of putting all the instruments together. The Iight, the half-inch or the inch flats, the rigger, all comes together to make a sort of a whole. But if you painted the whole picture with just one brush, it would look a bit one-dimensional. Let's get some darker in there, darker notes in there. Put some slightly bluer mix in these ones here. I'll add some texture to some ivy and stuff like that in a minute. Put some leaves on the top, some rogue leaves, a way of just showing a few twigs. Well, there we are. That's okay. It's just a bit up here. Put a little bit of sienna in there. Right, okay, let's do some on the other side now. Careful in my house. How are we doing? Right, let's go over to the other side now, the house, and we'll put in some more thinly type of trees, what they would be. But we get the oak trees, the spreading oaks, and we get those that are more vertical branches, trunks coming up and just spreading. We will put some ivy around a lot of this in a minute with the Iight. I'll just come up here with my chimneys. The great one for this was Isabel Castle. Have a look at her. Sadly she died some years ago. She was a member of the Ultramarine and Burnt group. She was the president for some years. After Bert Houghton, who was a member of the Wapping art group. I used to be a member for about 25 years. But I really dropped out when I didn't really attend very much. I went to most of the professional demonstrations, did a couple myself. a really good group, but I wasn't really interested in going the evening for the sort of social painting. It wasn't my sort of thing. I wasn't after a social life. I wanted to learn to paint, and I could paint on my own far better than the group of other artists. Let's just make a nice that's going to have a nice eye in it. There's a lovely thick stroke with the rigger. If you get enough water on it and a thick enough paint, you can have some real impact with this little brush. Right, now we'll just use some blue red maybe, just to lay some back in the landscape. Right, now I'm going to use some ivy, so some sienna and some blue, quite thick. So let's just put in some of this here. I love all this. Let's have some nice sienna in the trees here. Trying to show the shapes there. Just use a bit of the ultramarine with the burnt sienna now, just to make it a little bit darker. All very delicate. Got the dark on one side of this. Looks like it's a lot, doesn't it? But it isn't. It's just the impression. Once you put some solid stuff over it, it fills in the sort of gaps, and the viewer can use their imagination. We'll have a go at the house in a minute. The light you can see on the brush is a halogen light. I hope it's not this. Let's move it away a bit, I think, because it might be distracting. It's got very dark. It was a lovely morning. Turn it off. It's shining in the eyes. No, off it goes. Any of you miss seeing Harry, the ginger cat, who's about 14, 15 months old now? Always older than that. He tends to prefer the garden or other people's gardens. And doesn't often come up in the loft to disturb us. But he's doing all right. He's lovely nature. Let's just put that distribute over the hill there. Right. Okay. Half inch flat. So I'll use a bit of burnt umber. No, I won't. I'm going to use just for the sides of that house. It's away from the light, so we're slightly shadowy. We'll have a bit of sienna. And roof coming down this barn here. I'll put a few. Have that bit of dark in this window door. Okay, that will do. Right, now we'll start to put a bit of texturing on in the landscape. Sienna. Too much water. So watch that with the hake. It holds a ferocious amount if you're not used to it. Ditch there. So I'll just put some up here. Just showing some sort of scrubby flora. A little bit of warm in there as we come forward. Just the siennas. Don't want too much of this. Okay, that'll do. Bit of rigor work in there. Now, strong. Just a sort of rough area. some calligraphy in the just a few meaningless sort of strokes. Right, figure. Okay. Okay, that'll do. Right, can't get simpler than that. I think that's a pretty good amount on it. So it's another Surrey Hills painting. Well, improvised anyway. On there. Okay, so that's the one for a Monday morning. Let's just give it all signature. Right. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. Let's bring you round so you can see it. Plenty of colour, but I've only used 4. Wind this off a bit, and then just angle that down there. Yeah, but I've really got the focal point more or less in the middle, but it doesn't matter. But these are sort of things that you do as a doodle. All this is all doodle. It's not, it doesn't exist, it's just an impression of something. It's my particular language of showing how I do things. I need a shadow on there, so I'll just do that. It's just okay, that just roots that to the ground a bit better. You can fiddle with these for whatever, but it's knowing when to stop really. I'm reasonably pleased with that for Monday morning. Thanks for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.